Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this European edition of the interactive CodyGame. So we are going to play all together, and we are playing online. And in order to play this game, we need to build two huge teams. Teams will be spread all around Europe, so we need a nice mechanism to build them. So let me just to try to explain how the teams will be built. So all of you are watching a video. So all of you are in front of a screen. So in order to split you into two groups, into two teams, I'd like you to figure out whether you are sit to the left or to the right of the screen that you are watching. So let me give you an example. So assume that you are in this classroom, and this classroom here has many kids, many pupils watching a video, and some of them are sit to the left and some others to the right. And the idea is that if you have two mobile devices, two smartphones or two tablets, you can split your classroom into two groups. The one taking part to team left and the other one taking part to team right. So this means that each group in your classroom have to be equipped with one mobile phone or one mobile device with internet connection in order to take active part in the game. And I suggest to split the classroom into two groups in this way. So if you feel that you are sit more to the left, please join the left team. If you feel that you are more to the right, then please join the right team. So the actual action that you have to make in order to take part in one of the team will be explained shortly. Right now, I'm just explaining how the teams will be built. So this is the case in which you are going to use two devices in your classroom. But assume that you have just one device available in your classroom. So in this case, this is another situation in which you have just one device. And in this case, you can decide whether to take part into team left or into team right. So the entire class can contribute to one of the two teams. And you have to decide right now to which team you want to participate. Then there are other cases in which you have more than two devices. And in this case, assume, for instance, that you have four devices. You can split your classroom into more than two groups. And each group have to decide whether to stay with team left or with team right. Like, for instance, in this case, the small group of three boys will participate to the game with team left, this one with team right, this other with team left, and this other with team right. So that's more or less the idea. I hope it's sufficiently clear, because now it's time to build the teams. So in order to build the teams, what you have to do is to keep your devices in hand and be ready to scan a QR code or to just input a URL that I will provide. So the first team that will be built is team left. So all the people that are willing to take part in team left have to scan this QR code here or to input this URL, which is http etc.ch/UY capital YV. So you can either scan the QR code or input directly the URL. This is just for team left. So if you want to be part of team left with your group, so please scan this QR code. This is the only QR code that all the readers, all the quizzes, or the puzzles will appear on your screen once you have scanned this QR code that then you have to open with your browser. So this is just a web page. So let me check if everything is okay. Okay, I hope so. And so I hope that team left has already scanned the QR code, so I can open the one for team right. And here it is. So all the groups that would like to join team right have to scan this QR code or to input this URL. Wow, I see that there are people from Brazil. So not only Europe, I'm very happy. So I'm pretty excited of having a lot of people from different countries taking part in this game, and I look forward for watching you cooperate in order to implement game strategies during the game. Because in this way, as you have probably understood, we will build two teams that are spread all around Europe. So each team will be made of people taken from each of the classrooms attending this meeting. And this also means that if you are participating with two or more devices in your classrooms, that will be people participating to the game with both teams. So you can also compete within the same classroom while cooperating with other people, with other boys and girls all around Europe and all around the world in order to try to win the game. Okay, I hope that everything is set. So right now we should have the two teams, and let's check if this is the case, because we are going to ask you the first question, which is not yet a reader, but it's just a question to know how many people are in your group. And this also helps us familiarizing with the tool and see if everything is set. So please, we can launch the first poll to see for team left and for team right. This is the first question, and I look forward for your answers. So I see that there are, okay, many people who are providing answers right now. And as you can see, there are groups of 2 to 5 people, 6 to 10, 11 to 12, 21 to 30 in both teams. And this is very nice because there are a lot of votes in both teams. So this means that there are basically thousands of people attending this meeting and playing together. There are also a few of you who are in groups of more than 30 people. This is pretty exciting. And let's see if there is anybody in a group with more than 50, but it's very hard also to stay in the same room in more than 50 people, which probably would mean being in more than 100 if you are split into two teams. Okay, I let you keep answering this poll while I'll start explaining a few rules of the game, because the game will be based on CodyRoby. So the game dynamic will be mainly based on CodyRoby, and I need to tell you what CodyRoby is. So basically, CodyRoby is an unplugged tool for making coding, in which we have a very small robot, the one depicted in pink in this slide, which moves on a 5x5 chessboard, And in order to move, Cody, who is a coder, a programmer, has to provide instructions to Robbie. So Robbie is a robot, Cody is a coder, and this green card here represents the first instruction, which means move forward. And move forward will be hereafter represented by capital F, which is just the initial of forward. And this is the effect. Look at the robot. If I say move forward, then the robot moves to the tile in front of it. The other type of card is this one, which means a turn left. It's a yellow card, and the letter that we will use hereafter to represent this card is capital L. And if I say to Robbie, please turn left, then this is the effect. Then I say move forward again, and this is the effect, in order to introduce the third type of card that we have, which is turn right. Is a red card represented by a capital R. And the effect of this card is this one. You see. So if we say turn right, then Robbie turns to his right. So starting from here, it moves here. And then if we say again, move forward, this is the effect. So if we now put all these cards in sequence, we build a small code segment which tells Robbie to move forward, then turn left, then move forward again, turn right, and then move forward, which means following this path. And this is the overall effect of all this sequence of cards. So I hope that this is sufficiently clear, because right now I will use these cards to ask the first question, which resembles the readers that will be used during the game. This is a non-competitive trial, so it's just an example, and this is the question. So what I ask you is, and we will set the question for both groups, and then you will be able to answer them, is which is the letter, either A, B, or C, that Robbie will reach by executing this small code segment: forward, forward, turn right, move forward. So what I ask you is, which is the destination, either A, B, or C. So we are ready to launch the poll. There is Lawrence here in the room together with me, helping me in setting the readers and setting the polls. So as soon as you are ready, we can launch the poll. So destination A, B, or C. So team left and team right, please provide your answers. So while you are answering, I explain you how you will be able to compete during the game. So as you can see, I can right now just enlarge a little bit those two. There are percentage of answers, and among the three answers, there is the correct one. And for each reader, the winner will be the team providing the correct answer with a higher percentage. So as you can see right now, you are more or less providing the same answer with the same percentage. But at some point, I will stop the poll and just take a snapshot in order to see which is the team providing the correct answer with the higher percentage. So for this specific reader, the correct answer was C. And assume that this is the time in which I look at the screen, and at this time, you see, the correct answer is provided by 92% of people in team left and less than 90% or around 90% in team right. So this specific riddle, if it were a real one, would have been won by team left. Okay, so this is the way in which you will compete, but then you will also organize yourselves and implement a strategy in order to move. And right now, I need to introduce the actual playground, which is this one. So let me just take this out, and I will keep this over here in order to make it clear that L means left, F means forward, and R means right. And this is the Scratch project that will be used to manage the game. So let me just tell you a few rules. So there are two pieces, one pink for team left and one green for team right, that will move on this 5x5 board by using the CodyGame cards. And the CodyGame cards will be taken from this deck, which has been shuffled. So you don't know which cards your robot will, actually not your robot, but your team will have to move the robot, to move the piece. Assume that team left is moving first. And I suggest that this is the case just because of the test that we did a few moments ago. So assuming that team left will move first, the team has to decide how to use these three cards to move the pink robot. And there are many opportunities, like for instance, going forward and then turning left and right, and this will bring the robot here, so over Angry Bird. And this means that reaching Angry Bird will correspond to a reader, to a challenge. And both teams will compete to provide the correct answer once the question will be asked. And in case the winning team, the team winning the reader, is the one who moved, then he keeps moving. So this means that you keep the game in your hand if you provide the correct answer. If you are not providing the correct answer, then what happens is that the other team has the chance to provide the correct answer. So assume that team right won the reader. So in this case, team right will not only take the game in his hands, but also have a bonus. And the bonus corresponds to having the possibility of changing the cards if they are not suitable to play the turn. So at every turn, you have many possibilities. Then I will comment and help you deciding what to do. But right now, going to over Angry Bird was not the only options, because you could have played, for instance, in this way. First of all, turn left, move forward, and turn right. And in this case, the destination would have been another riddle based on CodyGame. And the overall objective of the game is reaching the target, which is this one. And what is nice is that at each turn, the team who is playing the game can decide to apply the moves not to his piece, but rather to the target, because the target can be moved exactly in the same way. Look, for instance, what I'm doing right now. I could move forward, in this case, this piece here, but I could also apply a move, and let me give you another example, to the target in this way. You see, the target is moving, and then it's also turning, and that's why the target has this like an arrow, because it needs to point in a direction in order for turn right and turn left and go ahead and move forward to make sense. Okay, I think that now we are ready to play the game, and this means that I will restart the project. So both teams have their pieces in the starting position. The target is in the target position, and the first move goes to team left. So right now, those are the cards that team left can play. And there are many possibilities. At each turn, the team has to play all the cards, unless there are no possibilities of playing some of them. But right now, you have the chance of playing all of them, because, for instance, let me write for you, so for team left, the options that you have. So the first option is moving forward and then turning left and right. So this means FLR. This is the first option. The second option is turning left, so L, going forward, F, and then turning right. And then there are other possibilities. Well, I don't think so, because in case we turn right first. Oh yeah, sorry. There are other possibilities, but are quite useless, I would say, because I could say turn right, turn left, and go ahead, but the result will be exactly the same of moving forward and then turning left and right. So there are many different possibilities of playing and sorting in different orders the cards, but only two possible destinations, which are the tile in front of Robbie and the tile to the left of Robbie. So right now, it's your turn to take the decision on the order in which the cards are to be played. So please, make your choice. So the first option is forward, left, right. The other option is left, forward, right. So many of you prefer to go to the left and to play with Cody Robbie rather than playing with Angry Bird. So notice that this is part of the strategy, because the strategy is not only how fast you can reach the target, but also which readers you want to be challenged off. Because in this case, you can, if the reader is more suitable and you feel more comfortable with a reader rather than another, you could try to keep the game in your hands and avoid the other team to play. Okay, so I think that the decision has been clearly expressed, so I can implement your decision, which means that the pink Robbie will move, first of all, to the left, then move forward, and then turn right. Okay, it's time to see what's the challenge hidden behind this tile. To this purpose, I need to go back here and ask you this first reader. So the question is, which is the destination of Robbie? And once again, exactly as in the example that I made before, there are only three possibilities represented by A, B, and C. And the code that Robbie will execute says move forward, turn left, move forward, move forward. So both teams will be asked the same question, and the team providing the correct answer with the higher percentage will win this reader. So please. Okay. Okay. Okay, I cannot say which destination is the correct one in order not to affect the result, and I will just okay, so I will assess the correct answer only once the winner has been clearly identified. So I see that okay, there are more than 4 points of difference, so I can okay, I can now say that the winner is a team left because the correct answer was B, and it has been provided by 89% of team left against 85% of team right. So congratulations to team left, which keep playing the game. So this means that these cards are again for team left. So before moving this time, I will ask team left whether they prefer to move the piece or to move the target. Notice that in this case, you can only decide to turn your piece, and you have to move to use all the 3 cards. So this means that having 2 turn right and 1 turn left, the result will be a turn to the right. So applying this to Robbie will mean having Robbie turn effectively to the right of the screen. While if you decide to apply this to the target, then the target will be oriented to the bottom of the screen after the move. So almost 75% of team members have decided to move the piece, and this is the effect. I won't ask you in which order to use the cards because the effect will be the same. So I take them in any order. So right, right, and then left. And this is the result. So in this case, there is no reader. When there is no reader, so I can remove the reader. Why there is no reader? Because once the reader has been already used, it disappears from the board as I did right now. So when there are no readers in the destination of a move, then the turn goes to the other team. So right now, team right has his chance to play the game, and those are the cards. So I ask the team if they prefer to move. So this question is for team right. If they prefer to move the target or to move their piece. And please, team members, provide your answer. Okay, so many of you prefer to move Robbie that I think that the decision has been taken. So before going ahead and before asking you the question about your preference on the order in which the cards have to be played, I point out that the cards that you are in hands are exactly the same that Team Left had when they first moved. So this means that the 2 destinations that you can reach are exactly the same, but right now one of them has no reader associated with it. So if you decided to go to a destination without a reader, then once you reach it, the game will pass to the other team, while if you decide to go into a destination with a riddle, you can try to win the riddle to keep the game in your hands. So the two options are exactly the same as before. So the first one is forward, right, left, so F, R, L. And the second one is left, forward, right, so L, F, R. Please make your choice. Okay, 50%. Okay, 50% again. Okay, let me wait a little bit because the decision is not so clearly stated so far. Wow. Okay, so right now the second option, which is left, forward, right, which means going into a destination without a riddle is winning. So let me wait a few more seconds. So I think that we need a countdown because it's so uncertain. So 10, 9, wow, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so 53% goes to the first option. So this means that I will move the green Robbie in this way. Forward, then right and left. And we are going to play with Angry Bird. And I find Angry Bird here. So here we have Angry Bird. And I can make it a little larger than to make it more visible. Here we are. So or not, the program that I write will allow Angry Bird to reach the green pig. Okay, so Angry Bird has to reach the green pig. I put together a code segment and ask you whether this code segment will be effective or not. So first of all, I will turn right, move forward, turn left, move forward, move forward, turn left, and move forward. Okay, so the question is this code segment working or not? Does it work? Wow. 100% say yes in team left, 100% say no in team right. Very nice. Okay. Very hard to take this decision, apparently. Wow, exactly 50% in both teams. Incredible. Okay, it's time to set a countdown. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, so at this point, when I said 0, there is 50% in team right and 51 and 49 in team left. Let me see if it works. Uh-oh. It doesn't work. So I forgot a move forward. So this means that the reader is won by team left. And this time, team left is not only able to play, but has also the chance of changing the cards. So the cards are these ones. And the first question that I asked to team left is whether or not they want to change the cards. Change the cards will mean changing all of them. So taking 3 new cards from the deck. Do you want to change the cards? Okay, I think that many of you prefer to change them, so let me take other cards. Here they are. Okay, so now, wow. Okay, this is a very difficult situation because you could play with the piece, with Robbie, or with the target. So if you decide to move the target, the move could be quite effective. While if you decide to move Robbie, you have only one card to, actually two cards to that you are allowed to play, which will bring Robbie to the initial tile and then make it turn to his right. So this means that you will end up in this position, turned to the bottom of the screen. While if you decide to apply the moves to the card to the target, you could do many different moves, like for instance, turning right and then going ahead and turning right, of mixing the two. So first of all, please decide whether you want to apply the move to the target or to Robbie. 50%. Okay, let me wait a little bit because the decision is not so clear as I expected. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wow. 50.9 against 49.1%. Okay, let's move the target. So there are many ways of moving the target. So this means that this will be the piece that will be moved, so the target, and we could move it in this way: forward, forward, right, forward, right, forward, right, forward, forward. So those are the 3 possible moves. Please make your choice. I'd like also to mention that even if the target goes where there is a reader, then the reader has to be actually played by and answered by both teams. While if you decide to move the target into a tile without a reader, then no readers will be have to be solved, but the game will pass to the other team automatically. So most of you are saying forward, forward, right. So let me just implement this move, which is forward, forward, right. And in this case, we are going to play with scratch. Okay, let me remove the readers that have been already played, and let me go and look at this project. So I don't know how familiar you are with Scratch, but Scratch basically has the capability of specifying the behavior of characters, like for instance this cat, by doing something like this. For instance, I can move the character just by 10 steps, and this is the effect. I could add control and say to repeat 10 times these steps, and this is the effect. And I can use a pen like I did now, or restart. And in this case, if I move the character here and I restart, the character will move without drawing, just because the character is keeping his pen high without leaving any sign on the ground. While by putting the pen down, then this will be the effect, and so on. So those are the only instructions that I explain, because I rely on your familiarity with Scratch to let you try to figure out what this code will do. So let me also do this for you. Okay, and then clear. Okay, this is the starting point. Okay, the question, the possible answers are: draw a circle, draw a line, draw a square. Those are the three possible answers to the question, which is what does the cat draw? Okay, so draw a circle, draw a line, draw a square. Okay, let's see. Very interesting. It's amusing to look at the bars that are changing so fast, and it is incredible how many times you are changing your mind as a team, because the decision of a team is taken by the majority of the answers, and in many of these readers, the decision is not so clear until the very end of the countdown. So right now, both the teams are converging to the first option, which is drawing a circle. It is also nice to see that the first answer provided were completely different. So there is a big difference between the answers that are provided in a very short time and the ones that are provided by thinking a little more before answering. So let me see. Okay, I think that both teams are voting for the circle, and team right is saying that the correct answer is circle with more than 55%, while around 45% in team left. So at this point, if is the correct answer, then team right is the winner. Let's check. Here is the circle. Good. Let's go back to the game. And right now, these cards are for team right, and then they can also be changed if you want. I don't know if you if you think they are suitable or not to play your strategy, but the first questions for you is whether you want to apply the cards to the, you want to, sorry, to change the cards. As usual, you start with 50%. Okay, let's wait for a few more votes. Okay, at this point, are your new cards. Okay, now you have to decide if you prefer to apply these moves to Robbie or to the target. The question is for team right. Mm, yeah, sometimes you have to reload the, yes. Okay. Okay, I think that this can be applied to Robbie, and I can directly do it because there are no alternatives, because the three cards are all move forward, so in any order they will bring to the same result. So for instance, if I take this, and take this, here is the destination. And this time we have to play with another character that is taken from Frozen. And here is the character. Now, what we have to do here is to help Anna skate, and by skating, basically drawing a square. You see, I hope that you can see on your screen this light square here, and this is the path that Anna has to follow. And there is already a piece of code here which is more or less implemented, but there is a choice to be taken here. So we have to tell Anna how many times she has to repeat these two instructions, which tells her to move forward by 100 pixels and then turn right by 90 degrees. So how many times? And the possibilities are 1, 3, 4, and 5. 1, 3, 4, and 5. So 1 is the correct answer in case you think that this code by itself helps Hannah drawing a square. Well done. Okay. Okay. Countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay. Both of you say 4, and in case 4 is the correct answer, then the riddle goes to team right. Let's see. Well done. Okay, so Team Right keep the game in his hands. We remove the reader and we take three more cards from the deck. Here are your cards. Oh. Okay. So you have to decide, first of all, if you want to apply these cards to your robot or to the target. Wow, 50%, 50%. Okay. uh, Actually, both choices could be good. So there is a perfect symmetry between the position of Robbie and targets so that the move could be effectively applied to both of them. But you are clearly stating that you prefer to move your robot, which makes sense. Okay, so let's see how the move can be done. So basically, you have to use all your cards. And while you could have had many ways of applying the moves to the target, you have only one way of applying the move to Robbie, because you cannot move forward at this point before turning left your robot. So you need first to play the turn left and then play twice, move forward, move forward. And as it is apparent, this will lead you to the victory of this game. Because let's see what happens if I apply the moves. I cannot ask you how to move because this is the only choice that you have. So you have to go left, move forward, and move forward again. And in this way, team right wins the game. So I think that before closing the webinar, we can ask you how you enjoyed the game. So I'd like to ask Lawrence to prepare two questions for the two teams and see if the answers are subject to the result of the game and will be conditioned by the results. So I'm pretty curious. From 1 to 5 or something like that. Okay, so we will use the so-called Likert scale, and we will ask you how you enjoyed the game in a scale from 1 to 5. So 1 means not very much, while 5 means a lot. Okay, here we are. Okay, the distribution is a little bit more positive for the team who won the game, which is reasonable. I'm sorry for the team who didn't, but I hope that you enjoyed the game in any case, and please also be aware that we played with coding. So this means that we played with coding in many different ways. First of all, we played with coding because all the readers and also the gameplay was, and the game dynamics were based on fairly simple coding principles. But we played with coding also because the project, the Scratch project that we used to play, is built with coding. And in order to make sure that this is the case, you can open it, look inside, and look at the scripts, and you can find all the code that to implement this made this experiment based on coding. The fact that we are also using a lot of tools, of software tools, and software tools are all made with code. So this means that there have been many programmers around the world, many coders who have used their skills, their coding skills, to implement all the software elements that were used today. And also the network devices that helped us interact with each other, implement a lot of functionalities with coding, not just with hardware. And among all the instruments that were used, there is also a very nice instrument that is the one that allows me to do this. So to take a window and to keep many windows up front. And this tool is called On Top Replica. And this is a piece of software that was developed by Lawrence, who is the facilitator of this game today. So Lawrence, if you want to come on the other side of the table, they can see you. Here is Lawrence. Okay, so thank you very much. I really enjoyed conducting this game, and I'm pretty proud of how many of you took part of it, because the numbers that you see here represent groups participating into the team. So we will count the number of participants and let you know afterwards. And congratulations to the right team, and also congratulations for the fair play, and also for winning some of the readers, and in particular the first one, to the left team. Thank you very much, and see you next time. Bye-bye.